Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today, we're going to be talking about that damn Ben Simmons. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, all of you guys know my feelings towards Ben Simmons. I've been saying now for years that I believe that Ben Simmons is wasting everyone's time. I've been saying that. Now, I've made some enemies online, some people that are Ben Simmons supporters. They've come after me and say, "Oh, you don't know basketball." Imagine, because I said Ben Simmons is not a very good basketball player. There's some that have actually told me that, "Oh, you don't know anything about basketball." Let's just get to the quick here. Ben Simmons has been a total disappointment. An absolute disappointment, like a total disappointment. On every metric you have, you can weigh it. He's been a disappointment. Ben Simmons, before he came into the NBA, I want to just jog some of you guys' memories. Ben Simmons was being compared to, a lot of people were comparing him to LeBron James. Just think about that for a second. People out there were saying that Ben Simmons could possibly be the next LeBron James. Just you think about that. You're being compared to a top 5 player of all time, and you have those type of comparisons. What do you think one would do? One would think, okay, Ben Simmons would do everything in his humanly possible to go out there to ensure that these people are right. So what happens? His first year, he has a stellar year in the NBA. Next season, he does very well as well. Throughout the course of his career, I think he became an all-star. Yes, he did become an all-star. He made multiple all-defensive teams. If I'm not mistaken, he made 3 all-star teams. He made an all-NBA team, all-third. He made 2 defensive teams, 2 second all-defensive teams, and he won the Rookie of the Year. And this Ben Simmons led the league in steals back in 2020. Then the following season, his numbers went up, and then we started to notice a decline in his production. Then what happened? There's the infamous game that he had, the Game 7 against the Atlanta Hawks, where he passed up an open layup to pass it to his teammate, who ended up getting fouled. Then he went multiple games where he barely scored in the fourth quarter, multiple single-point games. And then at the end of that series, Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers made some comments about him. Ben Simmons took him very personally and said, "Hey, I want to be up out of here." Right? Basically staged a mutiny, refused to go to work, and then ultimately got traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Then some people were up there twerking it up in celebrations for the fact that the Brooklyn Nets slandered Ben Simmons. And at that time, I was saying to myself, do these people understand who the hell they're talking about right now? We're talking about Ben Simmons here, and y'all are up there twerking it up. Do you know this guy? So what happens? He gets to Brooklyn, and in his first healthy season in Brooklyn, he plays 42 games, or at least the season he was able to play. And in that season, he averaged 6.9 points per game on 56% shooting. Of course, Hall of Fame, 0% from the three-point line, 44% from the free throw line, with 6.3 rebounds, 6.1 assists, 2.3 turnovers, 1.3 steals, and became basically relegated to a guy coming off the bench, a guy that basically refused to shoot the ball. So what happened? This morning, came across an article here from fadeawayworld.net, which basically is talking about the fact that the Nets could trade Ben Simmons in a 3-team deal. But before we get into this news, this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let me just get into this article here. It says, it appears Ben Simmons will play for a new franchise in the upcoming 2023-2024 season. Per the Miami Heat insider Greg, the Brooklyn Nets could be the third team that would send Damian Lillard to the Heat in what will surely go down as a blockbuster trade this summer. NBA Central, the Nets are looking to ship out Ben Simmons in a 3-team deal involving the Brooklyn Nets, Miami, and Portland. The Nets indeed enter the new deal and manage to help the Heat land Lillard. It may come with the play of sending Ben Simmons to a different team. The guard has 2 years remaining on his $177 million deal. Earlier, NBA insider Brian Windhorst called it the worst contract ever in the league. It goes on to say, no one is saying that the Nets had a great option, Windhorst said on ESPN's NBA Cross Court, but when you look at his contract, Ben Simmons owed nearly $80 million over the next 2 years and hasn't been able to finish the season or last this season. His future is completely undecided, and he recently broke up with his agent. That's what Brian Windhorst had to say. So the question then becomes, why is he saying that this is the worst contract in the NBA or ever? Why is he saying that? Well, it's simple. Number one, you got to look at the dollars committed. And some people say, well, why are we looking at that? Well, the reason Ben Simmons made all that money at that time was based off of the trajectory that he was on. We then have to ask the question, after you looked at these numbers, his numbers over the last few seasons, has Ben Simmons been improving? Well, the answer is absolutely not. He's not been improving. Let me give you guys another fun fact. Ben Simmons has only made 5 3-point shots since he's been in the NBA. So in 5 years, Ben Simmons has made five 3-pointers. In 5 years. But of course, you have the folks out there that will tell you, no, it's not Ben Simmons' fault. It's this guy's fault. It's that guy's fault. I was even listening to Nick Wright the other day, and he doesn't believe that Ben Simmons will be in the league past next year. What team is going to pick him up? Ben Simmons seems totally disinterested. I was listening to Draymond Green recently talk about his confidence, and he's not confident in his shot, etc., etc., etc. But you're confident enough to pick up those paychecks. Yo, man. I'm done with this story. So what I want to know from you guys is simply this. Do you think that they end up trading Ben Simmons? And do you think that Ben Simmons is going to continue to have a healthy career moving on in the NBA? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show.